Okay, so welcome to Tell Me About You. Right now, I am sitting with Alex, and I'm gonna let you guys hear from Alex herself, who she is. Go ahead, honey.
Hello, everybody. I am Alex Martin, or if you follow me online, Miss Alexander Martin. Pronouns she, her. I'm an artist, professor, and curator, community member living and working out of Peoria, Illinois. Uh, I'm originally from West Virginia, born and raised in the hills of Appalachia. I'm a hillbilly at heart.
Oh,
And I mean it for real, like my uncle was distilling moonshine on a mountainside. We're
what?
talking real West Virginian.
It was
Um,
pure. Just a little pillow pinky in
yeah,
there.
sure. My mom actually, when she was a kid, was at my uncle and aunt's house running around outside,
Oh,
and she ran inside, and there was like a cold mason jar in the fridge, and there was like condensation on the outside. She was like, "I'm so thirsty, and that water looks so good." And she took a big gulp. Fire.
oh my
It was
gosh.
pure ethanol.
Oh my god. I'm happy your mom is cool today.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm an artist first and foremost. I'm a black trans woman. Um, with all that includes living in today's world and society. And I'm very happy to be here
Yay.
today.
If y'all haven't realized, I absolutely love Alex. She is one of my greatest friends, and I do not say that lightly. She has always supported me in everything that I have done. So for her to be like, "I'll come on the podcast," I'm like, "Oh, you better stop it." But anywho, so you see, I'm gonna pretend like I don't know you.
Oh,
Okay, I
God.
got you. I got you. I got you. So Alex was no, I was playing. So you said you're a professor, you done curated everything and then some. You're an artist. I did see some of your art. It was very, very cute.
Thank
And I'm gonna put some up in a second.
you.
Look, I'm making a note for myself. Put it up. So with that, like what out of all the things that you do, which one is your favorite?
So I would say being an artist, like that's the center of my life. Everything I do, the way I live, like to me, art isn't about doing something productive. I think that's a very colonial mindset, uh, and it's rooted in capitalism. I think to be an artist is a lifestyle choice. I've said that for years, where it's how you interact with the world, how you see the world, and how you process the world. And so everything I do, my education, my curation, my community work, ritual, all of that, I consider all of that a part of my practice as an artist. So it's like if artist is the umbrella, everything I do falls underneath that. And is an influence on like who I am, how I live, influences the work I make. But also is like who I am, what I do is my work as well, if that makes sense.
So it's like Art and Alex one and the same.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
That is
because it's
beautiful.
like every decision I make, even when I'm like I'm a huge nerd. When I'm playing video games, when I'm reading a book, when I'm watching TV, whatever, all of that is either like taking in inspiration, like information that inspires me, or navigating in a way that changes the way I think about things. Like I'm always thinking and trying to create the kind of world I want to live in, and so it to me falls underneath my practice as an artist. Like my spiritual journey is that of an artist. It's like at the core of my being.
And it does reflect in your art. Like your spirituality also shows up in your art. Like, would you be comfortable speaking on any of that?
Yeah. So like I first of all, can we get a heads up for this tiny little microphone? I love it. It's so much fun. No.
Girl.
It's so cute. But I was raised Southern Baptist, and I am not anymore. But it's a very fervent. I think that's the word. I said fervent earlier, and Jacob made fun of me. I think it's fervent, like very devoted, very intense, very fire and brimstone. You're going to hell, and like being a kid, being in the closet. I was like, oh God, I'm going to hell. And it took years. Like I'm 30. I'll be 33 in like 3 weeks. Woo, Leo. um, and it took a very long time. Like I would say to like my mid to late 20s to sort of release that religious trauma of like everything about me is wrong, and I'm fallible. Like or everyone's fallible, but everything about me is wrong and I'm a monster. And if I act on what I feel or what I believe in, I'm a monster. And there's like childhood traumas associated with that as well, not just religious trauma. But in breaking free of that, I've sort of found my own spirituality. I believe in my ancestors. I believe in those that came before. I believe in non-Anglican traditions that I think our ancestry, well, everyone's ancestry has had removed from them. And I believe in a lot of powerful things. And I know that, like, the religion that raised me was rooted in oppression. It was forced upon my ancestors. It was forced upon people as a form of control. And I don't resonate with that anymore. But I think that desire for spirituality, that desire to connect to the divine, I think that's human. And I think some people have severed that tie. And in breaking free of my upbringing, I didn't sever that tie, but embolden it. And so that manifests in my work, where I believe in the soul, and I believe that we all have one. And maybe some souls have been around longer than others. But certain things just feel sacred. Like, for me, my identity, like being a trans woman, it feels divine. I have masculine and feminine energy. If you want to get into, like, different philosophies, like I have yin and yang balanced out within me. A lot of cultures viewed folks, I don't want to say underneath an identity because it's something different depending on different cultures, but like viewed how I experience life as sacred. And so I believe that it's sacred and divine. So I make work that takes those traditions of my communities, being Black, trans, Appalachian, queer, poor, even like coming from a poor family, like that's part of the culture I was raised in, is like fighting for survival. And so all of those communities have largely oral traditions, like the way in which we talk to each other, the words we use, the culture we create. Like Black trans women are out there creating culture that then the world takes from.
Yeah.
It's like all of those things to me are divine in nature, I feel. And so I make work that sort of honors that. My current body of work that I've sort of been developing over the past few years is creating sort of a pantheon of gods organized by houses, referencing the New York ball scene, which is Black in origin. And so these sort of divine beings from this world, there's like gods and demons and practitioners and witches and sprites and all these different deities that are in this constant cycle of rebirth and recreation in like a perfectly safe universe. And so this world I'm creating is an allegory for like the trans experience. Like my experience as a person is rooted in like rebirth and recreation and a cycle of like reinvention, rebirth, love, life, like this perpetual cycle. And so the universe I make in my work is kind of like an allegory to that, but it's rooted in sacred iconography and divine imagery because that's a lot of what gets promoted throughout history. So like I went to art school, got my master's in fine art. Like in art history, you look at a lot of sacred imagery because that's what survives. And a lot of sacred iconography sort of gets elevated in status. And so when I'm trying to bring this largely oral tradition, these cultures and languages and influences into spaces that have historically excluded them, I use divine imagery as a way to sort of elevate it. To show how important it is to me and to my community, I bring it into these spaces. Like, if you take an African American Studies course, they're going to talk about Black history. They're not going to talk about the way we talk to each other. They're not going to talk about the cultural things that, like, parasites online love to leech off of. When you see these articles that are like, internet speak for streamers. And I'm like, that's just how Black people talk to each other. Like, we create this culture that then is sort of like, but none of that is put in the textbooks. The textbooks are like history or things, and like the people making those textbooks, the people making those curriculum aren't always from our community. And so, like, the interpersonal things are just as important. So I use my work as a way to sort of elevate those, celebrate those, bring those things into a sort of sacred light through like divine imagery, sacred iconography, a lot of figurative work, a lot of sort of like, I call them relics, but like religious artifacts, and there's like my sculptures, and then performance.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm like, yes, girl, keep on going. But no, that is awesome that you're able to basically decolonize your art.
Yeah.
Like, that's super duper awesome. And I know, especially with this climate today,
It's a party.
I gotta say, look, all I can say is bless their heart. That's all I can say. Look, if you grew up in the South, you know what that means. You know what it means. I ain't gonna tell nobody what bless your heart means. But no, I
We'll
do
pray
understand.
for them.
Listen. Look, they gonna know the secrets. We don't want to know no secrets about it. But I gatekeep a lid be. But no, you're 100% right. It's just reclaiming you from everything that you've been taught is amazing. And I know there are a lot of people who will, how do I use these words without sounding like a terrible person? Well, not a terrible person. Sound like a meme. There'll be people who, because they can't fully be themselves, they will look at you and be like, the F is this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, how do you deal with that?
It used to bother me a little bit more because it's like, I was thinking about this morning. Like, before I transitioned, like, I wasn't doing manhood the way people wanted. Like, the way I existed was a problem when I was following the rules. But once I learned who I really am, now I'm even more of a problem. Like, they say they don't believe in transness, but they wouldn't have viewed me when I was growing up as, like, conventionally masculine. They'd have been like, you're doing man wrong. I'm like, okay, well, that's because I'm not a man. And now they're like, no, wait. Now you're doing it really wrong. And so it's like, it used to bother me a little bit more because, like, I've been in, like, some articles and publications and things, and, like, I've made the mistake of going into the comment section, and people are like, she's a witch, burn her. And I'm like, well, but
You still, it's weird. It's weird.
Someone said that once. I did this project called Remember Her Peoria, which, like, was about women lost to violence, like Indigenous women, trans women, and women lost to violence and police brutality and murdered and missing women of Peoria. And they wrote an article about it, and the people in the comments were like, "This creature's a professor. She's like a queer witch converting our children to socialism or whatever." And I was like, well.
Creature is crazy.
Yeah. Well, my students laugh because they're like, aren't you a queer witch converting us to socialism? I was like, y'all shut up.
I mean, if the shoe fits.
Yeah. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not asking for permission. I am. Like, period. I am. And no matter what they say or what they feel doesn't change what I am. And, like, if their myopic worldview can't fathom how awesome that is for me, that's their problem. And so it's annoying and sometimes frustrating if I'm feeling low and then I see people online being hateful or I read articles. It can be a little bit disheartening, but, like, my day-to-day life feels amazing. Even when it's not, it still feels great. And, like, I know what I love and I know who I am. And so, like, they're just gonna be that way. Like, I used to be, and I'm still, like, as an educator, I value people learning, and I think anybody can learn and change, but I'm done sacrificing myself for the education of people that just want to interrogate. And so, like, if they don't like me or have a problem with me or say what the hell when they face me, that's fine. Like, I don't care.
Damn.
I'll see them and their husbands in the DMs when they're trying to message me behind.
Well,
Because every finger pointed, every accusation's
it's a little bit of a reflection. It's a
yeah.
reflection.
But yeah, it's really funny to me because, like, when I'm around other people like me, when I'm with my community, when I'm with, like, I know what it feels like to be seen in my truth. And it's not just like, make sure you're respecting this and using the right language and blah, blah, blah. I have friends, like, older than me. I have family members and community members that, like, have misgendered me or have whatever, but I know they see my truth. Where it's like, they will, like, they know who or what I am. They see me for me. And so even if they've used the wrong vocabulary or whatever, that intention behind their spirit is, like, correct. Like, they know, like, you know what it feels like to be seen, and you know what it feels like to wear a mask. And around these people I feel seen, whereas, like, even people who are, like, accepting and know the right language and whatever, I still feel like they're referring to me the correct way, they're using the right pronouns, they're doing whatever, but it still feels to, like, in their head, like it's a social experiment. Where it's like, I don't really feel seen by them, they're just like, oh, this is how I play this game of being, like, correct or whatever, is by using the right terminology. Because like I'm not gonna say this without sounding like ooh, but like you need to embody what you believe in, and even people who may use the wrong language, if they embody a truth in how they see the world, they see my truth. So even if they use the wrong language or whatever, their intention is still good. And those that sometimes like know how to speak the right language and know how to talk a certain way and be like progressive or whatever in their ideologies, to them it's still like an ideology. It's all up in the brain but not embodied. And there's usually a racial divide with that. There's a category of people that famously, I think, abandon some of their spirituality and embodiment for like brain knowledge. White people.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But do they even... Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's just I think of like...
I had to stop myself.
I think of... Have you seen Sinners yet?
No, because I know my heart gonna break.
But girl, you gotta see it.
I'm gonna be so upset. I know it. And I love Ryan Coogler. Like, that's one person I would love to talk to. I love that man. I'm just like, dang, he's amazing. But no, I know when I see it, it's like... It's going... Because, like... I did see the discourse about that movie.
Yeah.
Where everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's this and that. And I'm just like, it kind of just harkens back to like what black people used to do before they were forced to, whatever, right boat.
Well, it's like, there's a scene where like the main character sort of channels his ancestors. They talk about it at the beginning of the movie, like you know what's happening when he does it. And every single person, like I started crying, as with my nesting partner Jacob, he started crying, like everyone was like, he had to argue with his like white producers because they were like, we need to take that scene out, which would have completely changed the movie. And then he was like, no, this is crucial, and so he kept it. And I was like, how can people be so like soul dead that they don't understand the importance of that scene?
Well, when it comes to, this is my personal opinion, just all my opinion. My personal opinion, it's like, because we were told for so long that what our ancestors did was quote unquote witchcraft. Even though if you break down the Bible, they do the same stuff. They just call it from a different person's perspective. But
Communion's a blood sacrament.
Who am I?
The flesh?
The blood, you got the blood and then you got the body. I said, oh, y'all got it, gang. I love that for y'all. But it's the whole, just the colonization of everything. Because even when it comes to, I know a lot of people I hang around that, you of course will know about this. Like when it comes to Haiti, when they demonize voodoo, why they demonize it? Because they were praying to like voodoo gods and they ended up freeing themselves. And it's like, let's make this a bad thing because we don't want them to see that they can be free.
It makes me think of that meme where it's like that person on the bicycle and then they put the stick in their own spokes and crash and they're like, how could you do this? And it's like, you're severing your tie to your ancestry. And I feel like this sort of, and like preface this, like I am half white. Like I have a lot of white. Now my white family is like West Virginian, Appalachian, like different socioeconomic status and like not wealthy, trials and tribulations, working class individuals. So like raised in that mindset, not like an affluent suburb or whatever like that. But like I think a lot of people in the dominant position, so a lot of white people, and then people who want to idealize, like instead of actually inverting and dispersing a power structure, they just want to be at the top of it. They idealize that sort of colonial mindset. They've severed a part of themselves to do that, so they don't embody anything. Like they know what it means. And this was I went on a tangent a little bit, but this goes back to like why I don't care how people see me, because to embody knowledge is different than just to like know it. And like in our sort of like Western, I don't even like to use cardinal directions, like Western society, we value this idea of like, well, I studied this, so I'm an expert. And it's like, but did you do it? Did you embody it? You can read all you want, but like, do you actually see it? It's like those magic eye illusions where like you can look at that page all day, but it's going to look like a bunch of weird static unless you look at it the right way. And to embody something to me is like being able to do that trick and see the image in that space.
So it's like being open-minded to what's actually going on around you.
Yeah, it's like it's a difference between like to embody knowledge. Like we're not just up here. We're here. We're everywhere in our body. And to like embody knowledge is to live in it. Not just like I can read about something and it's like, oh, I know about that. But to embody it means I can like pull from my instincts and be like, oh, I know this. Like my art practice, I learned a lot of things in school. I learned a lot of stuff over the years. That knowledge has become embodied because I can make decisions subconsciously. Like while I'm working on something, I can know an answer to it, like a solution to a problem immediately. And it's not based off of like, well, I remember this and this. Like it is sort of, but like it's like instinct and intuition. When you take that knowledge and alchemize it into something different, it becomes like second nature. And a lot of people just stop at the I'm gaining information but not embodying it. And so like I don't really care how those people see me. I care about the people regardless of whatever, the people who see me in my truth, and those who don't, like I'm still doing my thing regardless.
True.
And like I don't exist this way to seek others' approval. I mean, I'm a Leo, like I like to show off a little bit, but like I'm a performer. I like being on the stage. I like to do things. But like I don't do it to seek others' approval. Because not to sound corny, but I approve of myself. And it took a long time to get there. And like I went from like faking it till you make it in the realm of self-love to like actually embodying self-love, where like I look in the mirror and I'm like, ooh. Like I really love myself. And it's just interesting, like the more I've learned to love myself and embody and believe in my truth, the more like natural protection I have against like even people that I was connected to. There's a distance that forms because they liked a specific version of me, or they liked a version of me that was more passive, but like I've changed and grown a whole lot,
and they just didn't grow with you.
Yeah. And I'm at the frequency that I'm at, and like things that can't catch up to that, like
is what it is.
Maybe you will one day, but right now I'm doing my thing.
And there it is. So, okay, let's go back to this whole witch thing. Like, why do people keep saying that? I'm confused. Like, why do you keep saying this?
I think because the way I look sometimes, I think it's just like good old fashioned racism, but like the way I look, the way I talk about embodying things and spirituality, it's not necessarily rooted in Christian tradition.
But Christians do the same thing. They're just, again, it's rooted in...
Yeah, but that's for the Lord.
Girl, I thought we were just on the couch for a moment. I was gonna cuss you. I was like, how come you gonna cuss you?
And so, like, anything that represents something that they're not familiar with, they're gonna label as witch. And, like, fine, like, I'll be the Wicked Witch of the West Bluff, like...
West Side, if you will. West Side.
Like, whatever they, like, it's just an accusation. It's also, I saw something today, someone shared online, and it's like, all these white senators, these old-ass...
It's fine. It's been 30 seconds. We cool.
Yeah. These Tequila editing this in the future. I just said a curse word.
And I'm gonna leave it in.
But these old men that are like making these policies that support the 1% and not the rest of humanity, or not anybody else but wealthy people, they always, whenever people are calling them out for their behavior, they're always like, this is a witch hunt, this is a lynching, this is whatever. They're using terminology because historically there's never been anything against them.
Fair.
So they're going to call it a witch hunt, they're going to call it whatever, because their ancestors were the ones killing women, killing indigenous people, killing people of color, colonizing, creating apartheid states. Like, they were the ones doing all these things. And so they use the terminology of the people they policed, because they've never had to face that before. And so, like, if they want to tear something down, they just call it a witch and then burn the witch.
I wonder if people will ever really sit down. Because I know black people, I know we cool. We understand this. When will people really see, like, when it comes to a super duper wealthy person, like the people who are running this country now, they're just making you look at the other person to be mad at them, so you're not paying attention to them. So, like, at what point, I wonder at what point will, I'm going to say poor white Americans ever see that? Because, like, yo, my mom is white, and I know she be seeing stuff. So I'm just like, I don't know how. Do you think it's an education thing?
I think education helps, because, like, if you put yourself in an environment where you're learning new things, your worldview shifts. So education helps. I also think we have to stop viewing what they do as success. To become a billionaire means you have to exploit a bunch of
Fair.
people. No one
Fair.
gets there naturally. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier. People that aren't interested in like inverting or changing the power, like they aren't interested in changing the power structure. They want to invert it so that they're at the top. Because being a billionaire is their version of success. They're like, if I have money, if I have power, I can do whatever. Because they aren't happy. But like when you're up there, they ain't happy either. I have been like, life has been hard. Life is hard. Being alive is a huge challenge.
Sometimes, yes, it is.
But I'm a pretty happy person. Like
Yeah, you are.
Like I like being alive, even when it's like, oh God, I still like it. And like, no matter where I'm at, like when I was working 5 jobs and walking like 10 miles to work every day, versus like having a career now, like still was rooted in that joy. And you can do that wherever you're at. It's difficult. It's not easy, but you can try to do that wherever you're at. And these people don't, so they think that if they're in power, they'll feel successful, they'll feel happy. And so they still idolize these people. So if you idolize someone, it's like when fans get crazy, like, well, I don't care if that person said something racist, their music is amazing, or I don't care what they said online, I will support them blindly. Like, they're idolizing the ruling class because they want to be a part of it. I mean, it happens within our own community too. Like, people will idolize like the hustle and like the side hustle and the whatever. And I'm like, you're just playing their game. You're chasing that dangling carrot that you are never going to achieve. You're never going to be invited into those spaces. And that's why you see people who get into those positions of power sort of crash out because they aren't part of it. I think of like the trans women who are conservatives who are like, put us in the men's restroom.
Get
and
it.
Girl.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
It's the ultimate pick me. And I'm like, you're next.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get it. Because it's like everything, all these bills that are getting ready to be passed. Listen, hold on. Don't even have to like calm my spirit down on that one. Because I'm just like, Lord, take the wheel. Because the fact that so many people are going to lose their health care. And it's like, y'all cool with that? But, you know, bless your heart.
They have an existence. We'll pray for them.
We got to.
They have an existence rooted in hate. Like, when I want equity for everyone, I want equity for people that hate me. Like, I don't think anybody watching this lovely woman's program is that dark-sided, but like, if you are watching this and you don't like trans people or you don't like black people, I don't know why you're listening to this if you don't like black people.
People hate watch. We're here for it.
Yeah. Like,
if your views, I'm cool.
If you're watching this in hate, I still want you to have health care.
No, facts.
I still want you to live. I want you to live in a way that you can find happiness. I want you to live in a way that you can actually center joy. I legitimately want that for everyone. Like, I want it for people that hate me. I want it for people that don't agree with me. I want it, like, I'm humanity first.
I think the thing about it is, and it's so funny, when people have true joy, they don't care about nothing you doing.
Yes!
Because I tell you about, there's certain things, I'll just be like, dang, I really love my house. I really love that I'm able to sit down in my home and feel safe. I love that for me. But like, I get there are people who, they might be in certain situations, and that's where I try to be more empathetic, do the best I can. I sometimes fail, I ain't gonna lie to you. Depends on what they said to me. I'm like, oh, man, you rest and shit. No, I was playing. But no, it's just so interesting, and it's good to hear that you say, like, you know, I want everybody to experience happiness. I just would like for everybody to mind their business.
Yeah, it's not my job to help them experience that either.
It's not. No. That's their business.
But that's why they're attacking people like me, because it's like they would rather people they hate suffer than experience joy themselves.
Do you know how bored a person gotta be?
Sitting in their basement doing this.
Do you know how bored a person... Listen, I ain't gonna hold you. I will scroll on TikTok. I will have a good old-fashioned time. I'll see a video I don't like. I'll see the start of it, and I'm like, I don't care for this. Slide up. What am I finna sit on there and watch the entire thing for? Why am I finna sit over here and leave a hateful comment? If somebody says some ignorant stuff, that's your business. Like, you gotta sit with yourself every day, and that's crazy for you. I like sitting with me. I'm cool. Look, you see what I got on? You know me. I'm Big Comfort. I love Look, y'all gonna see me in some of these episodes. Y'all gonna be like, she don't never dress up. I am at home.
In her
Comfortable.
lovely, comfortable house.
Comfortable, okay? I look, insulated. Okay, I'm cool. I'm straight.
Every time you said comfortable, I was like light skin, dark
You
skin, beige, fluorescent.
You're dumb.
Speaking of lovely trans women, T.S. Madison, love her.
Oh my God, I love some T.S. Madison. Oh my day. If you ever see this T.S. with the medicine and attached to it, you are hilarious. I feel uncomfortable saying the name of your podcast because I feel that I may get in trouble.
Fag talk.
There we go.
I can say it.
She said I can't. I like to be safe. But I absolutely adore you. You don't understand how funny you are. Oh my God. You need to go and cut that out. You funny, no more though.
And what she does for the community, like opening up a house for black
It's
trans
beautiful.
women, like it's
you
amazing.
do work, baby. You do work. See, you got me over here.
Yes.
See, you got me at home. Yeah. I mean, home.
Like people are just so miserable. Actually, this makes me think of, we were talking about this earlier, that people want to still police for some reason. She had that whole interview with Miss Thing from Desperate Housewives, Nene.
Which one is that?
Nene Leakes? Is that her name? Yeah.
The one who she be pointing at the people real hard. She point.
Yeah.
She said something. When she point, I'd be like, dang, she really sees somebody.
Yeah. And she said something of like, oh, I don't want to sleep with men who have slept with you or something, which is, that's a crazy thing to say to somebody. But she was saying that like, oh, because they're gay. And then T.S. was like, well, I'm a woman. She was like, gay men don't date me because I'm a woman. And you see, a lot of black women online went up in arms. And they were like, we're not going to date men that have been with trans women because they're gay or they're at least bisexual, blah, 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 saying all this stuff. And I was like, girl, I hope you know that, like, when our rights get taken away, when people do stuff to us, you're next. Do you know how many cisgender black women have been under fire for, like, trans scrutiny? I mean, for the crime of being a black woman?
I'm fine. I'm cool.
It's crazy. And so it's like, stop. People don't view themselves as a pick-me, but I'm like, you're being a pick-me for dominant society. You're being a pick-me for the old world order that's on its way out the door, that's going to collapse and implode. You're being a pick-me for a system that wants to kill you. And that's crazy.
I wonder if a lot of people really understand that when it comes to all these different names like gay, transgender, all these things, right? That all that was like made up by white people.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean of like
it's
embodying
like when colonization hit. I ain't gonna hold you. White people, listen.
You see people who
y'all did y'all big one with racism. Y'all did y'all big one.
You see people around the world who like ancestrally embodied multiple genders, multiple ideologies, created these things, and then like 2 generations later completely turn their back on it. Mm-hmm. That seed from colonization, from racism, is so evil and potent.
Well, when you told you going to hell and you were forced to believe that, you're like, let me see what I can do to not make sure this happens. And it's like, bro, here's my thing. And I can talk about it. I don't care. It's my podcast. I'm here. When it comes to how people view God, it's very confusing to me. Mm-hmm. And me, you've had this conversation. Yeah. It's very confusing to me because, like, black people and white people worship a different God.
Yes.
Like, just simply off of everything that's going on. Worship a completely different God.
That's why I think it's a funny side note whenever, like, Christians are like, we're not spiritual, we're Christians or whatever, when they say, even, like, the progressive ones, that comes with, like, well, my God would never do that. I'm like, so you're acknowledging there's, like, what does that mean?
Listen, there was a thing in the Bible, and I was blew by it, because I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Because, just, a little preface and everything, I grew up super duper Baptist. Deep South Baptist.
Were you baptized?
I was baptized.
Me too, dunked in that tank.
It was cold as hell. But
swim trunks and an oversized t-shirt
there it is.
In front of the congregation.
Yeah, baptized and some more stuff. I think I was baptized twice on accident, but that ain't my business. Double dipped. But it's...
Did you? I just kind of did it. Cause, like, I believed in it, but it was like, if I get to be center stage for a minute.
But it's the thing that you're told where it's like, you going to hell if you don't do this. And I'm like, bro,
it's
like,
crazy.
The way that I view God is, you know that Jasmine Gordon girl? The one who be on the TikTok?
I'm on TikTok.
Oh my God.
I was,
mean-
but I deleted it.
I mean, get on it, but like, don't stay on it. Like, it's a good time. It's a good time.
I'll just wait for it to be on a reel on Instagram and then on Tumblr.
She on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Jasmine's. I think her handle is Jasmine's Garden. She is she's a black woman who is really deep in spirituality. She was a preacher's kid, everything like that, and she broke down the Bible God in a way that I've never seen broken down before. And she was like, he's a fucking narcissist. I said, well, now that we here, we might as well talk about it.
The art historian in me,
Listen.
I learned about Lilith in college when I was studying art history, because there's depictions of Adam and Eve, and there's the serpent, and the serpent has this woman's head, and they're like, oh, it's beautiful because Lucifer is supposed to be beautiful or whatever. And they're like, actually, that's Lilith. And I was like, who the hell is Lilith?
Gasp.
So I looked up Lilith, and I was like, oh, God created Adam and Lilith equally from the dirt. And then God said, Lilith, you're subservient to Adam. And she went, no.
It's not like that, bro.
And then they banished her from the Garden of Eden, and then took out Adam's rib and made Eve and said, Eve, you come from man, so you have to be subservient to man. And she said, all right.
But word on the street is, now this is from what I read, I'm over here saying like we know these people. But word on the street is that apparently God was trying to get Lilith back in the garden.
Well, I also know that
But
like
don't get me to lying to you. That's just what I read a little bit. You know,
well, some people depict her as like the temptation, like the serpent or whatever. They depict her like working for the devil or whatever. But like,
But then again, that's
if I was Eve and Lilith came up and said, God kicked me out because I was made different, I've been like, give me that apple.
Right, so that apple must have been fire.
Or pomegranate or whatever it was.
Whatever fruit it was, it must have been delicious. Because I'm just like, but there was another thing that will always make me be like, this is interesting. Why would God want us ignorant? That's where I realize how deep racism is.
Mm-hmm.
Because ignorance makes you basically a servant.
Yep.
And if you don't know something, you're never going to question it.
In a lot of places, the only people that could read were monks and priests and religious figures.
Who am I?
Keep the general populace ignorant. Tell them that what they're doing is a sin, and you can control the population.
That's what I'm saying.
And then you can use that to justify war crimes and spread across the world, and here we are.
And then, like, even in the Bible that, I'm going to say white Christians, the Bible that white Christians, like, really read, they don't read it. Because there was nothing about abortion in that Bible that was bad. Because what is bitter water? That baby had a whole abortion. I said, oh, my God.
The moment people start quoting the Bible at these fundamentalists, they lose their mind. Because, like, you're interpreting it wrong. And I was like...
But how? It's that part is in black and white. That part's black and white. And then when it comes to, like, how everybody's like, you know, Jesus this, Jesus that, it's crazy how I've seen more people who are not in Christianity be more like Jesus.
He was a radical Palestinian socialist who went around trying to end oppressive governments.
Well,
I'm like, you would kill Jesus today. I mean,
That's what I'm
they
saying.
did, but you would do it again.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That's why whatever demon they're connected to, like, I always said that this is how, like, this is the mental gymnastic I do to be like, I'm not going to be able to reach these people. They're going to have to figure out their demons themselves. Jesus, the person,
was kicking it with people like us.
yeah, he could come today and...
Come on, Jesus. Come on now.
Yeah, and be like,
Here's a beverage.
you all are crazy to these people. And they'd be like, you're not Jesus. Like,
Yep.
it could be the son of their God. And they'd be like, you're not Jesus. And I'm like, you know what? That's correct.
It's so funny. Shut up.
like I used to have, this is such a dumb, I'm weird. And I don't always get to say it because I have to be professional and all these things. So
Not
I'm going to
here.
be a little bit unprofessional. Side note, Kayla reached out to me after I was on the news talking about like transness during Pride Month. And then she was like, do you want to be on my podcast and talk about how you really feel about things? And I was like, yes, girl.
I'm here for it. I love when people tell, like, my whole thing with this podcast is I want you to be you. Because a lot of places, you can't be yourself. Because you're going to be like, they're going to be like, oh no, you can't say that. Nope, this is your business. This is about you.
Yeah, well, it's like, I feel like too, like being in this space created by a black woman, I don't feel the need to police myself.
You don't.
And like, I mean, I don't want to police myself ever, but the more, especially after transitioning, the more I am comfortable in how I feel, I see even people I care about pull away a little bit, where I can feel when I'm saying how I really feel about things. Because like we can get rambunctious, we can start going back and forth and be like yelling, laughing, like
have a good time,
full embodied conversation. And when I get into that space about things I really care about or think about, I'll say how I feel, and I think it's viewed as drastic, or like maybe they feel that way but they're afraid to say it. And I see people have this sort of like fear, like not necessarily afraid of me, but afraid of like the truth. I don't know.
It's a why would you think that?
Yeah, it's like I can't go that far. And it's like, why? And so like in those spaces I have to be like, hi, I'm a non-scary, non-threatening black woman that's perfectly palatable for your experience. And then I get with my friends, I just scream.
We have a great time. We have a glorious time.
But yeah, I go on tangent. That's another thing. When you're in feminine energy, regardless of gender identity, when you're in feminine energy, you get into the non-linear conversation. Jacob and I talk about this, where it's like, you go like this, but then you use that little bit of masculine energy to tie it all together. And come back.
It's going to be a nice little bow in the end.
Yeah! But I used to have this really stupid fantasy, because I have a vivid imagination, so I'm an artist. And I am a nerd. I love things with like superpowers, magical girls, all that jazz. And I used to be like, ooh, if I was like a superhero, I would teleport all these fundamentalist Christians like into the sky and have a big booming voice be like, you are misinterpreting my word.
Oh, that'd be a good
Stop.
time.
I was like, and I used to as a kid, I would fantasize about this. And then I'm like, as an adult, I'm like, if I did that, made them experience like whatever their version of God is, they'd be like, that's not my God. God wants me to hate. Like, and that's what it's like, you can't mess with them. They are in their own delusion, and they got to live in that and like get out of it on their own. You can throw some crumbs to help them along the way, but it is not my job to educate them or pull them out, because they are holding themselves in that quagmire.
Like, it take a lot of energy to be a hateful motherfucker. It takes so much energy. I'd be at home so happy. I'd be like, oh, this is a great time.
I was petting my cat in my bed, looking at my curtains, and I have like lanterns in my room and like these LED candles. It's very cozy. And I was watching my silly little YouTube video late at night, crying.
Great time though.
Yeah, I was crying because I was just like, I'm in my house and this is my space, and like here's my cat and there's these lights, bawling. I mean, bawling, but also like bawling.
Yeah.
And it was like I was like I get moments like that all the time. I call it like sheer bliss, like euphoria. I get moments throughout my entire life, even when life is knock down, drag out hard. I get moments of euphoria where it feels like I'm plugged into like this fountain of bliss, and it's temporary, it's brief. Because also to live in that space permanently would be a sensory overload. But it's just these little moments, and that's how I take of like my ancestors, the universe, God, whoever, being like, you're on the right track, girl. Is that I get to experience those moments. Because I feel like if I were wicked, this is how I have to, because when I voice my opinion, sometimes I'm like, oh, I must be a monster. Seeing the way certain people, like white folks, straight folks, like the way folks sort of retreat or call out the moment I say something that I believe in or pull away, makes me feel like I'm a monster. It's also rooted in like my upbringing. Like, I love my mother. We're on good terms now. But like when we get in fights, I was a door slammer. I would like knock over stuff because I just felt so like I felt so out of control in the environment I grew up in that I was like, there's a thing. So I would like slam my door, or like I would do like the cat thing and like knock stuff off the table and be like, you don't understand me.
I ain't gonna hold you. Whitest I've ever heard you sound. That's some white. I wish my kids
to my white family.
I wish my kids would.
Oh, I mean, I'll
blow my house up.
There were repercussions for my actions.
Good.
But my mom...
I mean, good, but...
My mom also spent a lot of time in the wheelchair so I could run away.
Hold up.
Like, you can get away with it if you could run. I couldn't come back. I'd have to stay downstairs or like hidden away because... She'd find a way to get me.
You said, if I could run, I'm cool. It's crazy. That's why you did that. That's crazy.
I'd be like...
No, you didn't. No, the scream that would have been scrum, okay? I'm not gonna go there hollering. I'm like, this heifer really not going to goddamn, okay.
Because my family, like, come from a line of Southern disciplinarians, loud, like, my grandma, who would also, like, run away from home and go to my grandma's because my grandma would be cool. But, like, when I was little, she'd, like, make us pick our own switch. Like,
I understand
I
that.
got tore up.
Listen.
But like,
Listen. Alabama, how we doing?
Woo!
I got go and get that switch. You actually get the smallest one. I never did that to you.
I'll pick one for you if you pick.
Listen. I'm not...
Woo! But like, we would get in these arguments, and like, I was closeted. I was in an environment that was unstable and insane, at the delusional whim of whoever's and like whatever's happening. And so when I felt out of control, that was the only way I could express my anger that way of like, you don't get it, like blah. And so, but my mom would say, and like, again, we're cool now. My mom, I just moved her to Peoria. We're hanging out. Yeah. She's white.
She's white.
But like,
that's all right. That's our tendency to be like, weird.
But like, we're cool now. But like, she would say things like, if your friends saw the real you, they'd know how much of a monster you are. Because like the stuff I did when we were in arguments, because it was palatable to my friends or whatever. And I never really thought about that until I had this fear of like, oh, what if they see me in my actual anger or whatever. And now, like, as an adult, I realize that this fear of, like, being perceived as a monster for having emotions, being perceived as a monster for disagreeing with somebody, has stuck with me. And I'm learning to undo that. I forgot how I got to this point. What were we talking about?
My bad, I got lost, too. I'm like, I'm in this.
Yeah, we were talking about God. We were talking about people being crazy. Yeah. I don't remember. Well... Oh, yeah. And so, like, when I say things that are in my truth and I see people shy away, it triggers that fear a little bit. But I've had to sit there and be like, I'm not a monster. Like, this is how I feel. And, like, my partner said to me, he said, one time I was getting mad at these people for being so disorganized. And I was like, I need to say something, but I'm scared. And he's like, are you saying anything to harm them or hurt them? And I was like, no. He's like, are you saying stuff because they need to do better? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. And so I have to remind myself of that when I'm saying these things. But, like, that's why it's great to be in spaces. I know I'm going to watch this later and be like, lost the plot a little bit.
She going to be like, now, she's like, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. But wait, what we talking about the first time? Wait a minute, let's go back. Let's bring back.
But yeah, like, it's just like being in a space created by a Black woman where I can be in that fullness of myself. Like, to any of my, like, cis straight white friends watching, like, this is how I feel. Like, this is how I feel when I'm comfortable. And I've seen people shy away, and it triggers that fear when I'm like, when I stop curating their experience for them. Like, the people that have sort of turned away from me or don't resonate with me want a version of me that doesn't necessarily exist anymore. And that version was like people pleasing.
But that version low-key didn't exist to begin with. It was kind of just like weird, what's we call it, a mask.
Yeah, that's why I have IBS. I was so stressed trying to keep everybody happy. Now I don't give a darn.
I can't deal with you. I can't deal with you.
Like, it was just so, and it's like, it's funny too, because like where I'm at in my adulthood, I feel this like, it's almost like word vomit. I think of Mean Girls.
Great movie.
So, I mean, it's wild. Like
us watching it back now, it's like, God dang, Tina, what the fuck? What?
She thought she could say a lot of things.
She said some shit. Listen, Miss Faye, I love you. 30 Rock, my favorite. But damn.
Girl, you're crazy.
Listen, you was wild for that movie. Boy,
I do like being an angry black hottie, though.
I would have jumped so many people in that movie, but that's neither here nor there.
I kind of had I'm not a lesbian, but I kind of had like a girl crush on Janice Ian. I think I just wanted to be like her. I love the edgy art girl.
Is that the one to be on? No. Is that?
She's the one who like yelled at her, and she was like, "I want a prize," and like threw that painting at.
She did.
Love her. I always like that kind of like the sort of edgy art girl. Like, and I love Daria. It's one of my favorite. I have the box set. Love every episode. And Jane Lane and Daria is that edgy art girl. But yeah, I
don't know anything about Daria's stale face now. I'm like, that motherfucker has stale face. that was a good arrest.
Just.
I wish I could do. I do.
I used to idolize that a little bit, like not this sort of deadpan face, because I'm way too like.
Your meme mug is funny though.
I know.
I appreciate it.
It's scary.
I'd be like,
people. Not a lot of people have seen me in my fury. Those that have, afterwards, either become closer to me or shy away and never mess with me again. Lex walked in on it once. I was on the phone with somebody who was causing some issues, and they had never seen me like unleash, and they were like, "Oh, hello." That was like, sorry, little microphone. Sorry. Um,
Baby night, baby night, baby night.
yeah, I can't be like screaming because you're gonna have to edit this later and just hear my screams in your ear.
I'll be okay.
But I I can't, like you said, I don't have that mask anymore, and it feels like that's why I was quoting Mean Girls. It feels like word vomit, where like I used to be able to like hold things down and be like, let's keep everyone happy, but now the moment something bothers me, it's like in my throat. It's like acid reflux, and I'm just like, you can't do that, and they're like, what?
My
And,
fault,
like,
OG.
and it's like I can't hold it back anymore, which I'm very thankful for. It's terrifying because it's contradictory to how I've survived up to this point, but I've grown stronger because of it. Like the moment I started setting those hard boundaries, the moment I was just like, you know what, fuck you, or sorry,
It's too late. We hug.
it's like, no, that's actually not okay, or I don't like that. And I've had some people say like, well, if you felt this way, why didn't you say something sooner? And it's like, because I was scared.
And it's even having that moment of vulnerability, being like, the reason I didn't say something is because I didn't know how I would feel telling you. And just having that, letting go of that fear of, oh, this person's going to go away. Now I'll just be like, all right,
Peace.
let's break this down for a second. You are dumb today and tomorrow. Stop it.
Yes. And it's like if people like, I'm around people now where I can be in that and they listen. And I listen if they're in that. And like, there's no going back. My body's like, it's like that, like once you've tasted the whatever, you can't return to like fast food. Like it's like, oh, I've tasted fish from the freshest river or whatever. I can't go back to like a McDonald's filet of fish. I don't eat McDonald's. It makes my tummy hurt.
Yeah, it makes my heart
Also, they're a horrible corporation that does terrible things and they promote genocide. But
I did not know that part.
they're on the BDS protest list.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well, it's a good thing I don't go there. So.
yeah. Yeah, it's just like once you live that way, there's no going back. And it's like I used to be so afraid of that and think I would be like, punished, like, you know, Southern Baptist upbringing. God's gonna punish me for whatever. But then everything got better. My life got better. My artwork got better. My practice got better. And I was like, it feels like sometimes I feel like my ancestors are like screaming at me. They're like, "Girl, be more direct. Here's the blessings. Like, look at what happens when you set strong boundaries. Look what happens when you advocate for yourself. Look what happens when you speak your mind. If you go back, you're going to get it. They're going to make me go pick a spiritual switch."
Listen, that's...
I mean, you
don't understand how
you
true
breaking
that
your bone
is.
or whatever when you were like, I'm going to go against my
Bro,
instinct.
oh my God. Oh my goodness. It's so funny because I was... Okay, so, side note, I do go to church. I go to church for different reasons than what regular people would go to church for. I take messages. I'm able to give messages from certain things. So it's like, I know if I go to church and I'm just like, okay, let me go ahead and get a message. I know I'm going to hear something that I need to hear.
Also, sometimes, like, you meet Christian people sometimes that, like...
Sometimes they are amazing.
Well, it's like, you know they're blessed. Like...
You do.
I don't believe it's Christian God blessing them, but, like, I was like, oh, you're touched by the Spirit. Like...
You know somebody blessed.
Yeah, like, they glow a little bit.
They do.
Kindness in their heart. Yeah.
They're amazing. So I was supposed to go to church. I told myself, I told you this. Oh my gosh. So the way my body works, so if I don't speak up, I will get physically sick. If I don't go someplace I need to go, I'm not going to be able to go for at least a good 3 months because I'm injured now. And it'll be the most dumbest way of how I got injured. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. That was the last time I didn't trust my intuition. That was the last time I didn't trust I trust my intuition always. Now I'm like, even when we started this podcast, I at first was like, okay, no, I'm not going to do it. And then it was so funny. So it was one person who I really wanted on the podcast, but I ain't had no podcast yet. I ain't have nothing yet, girl. I ain't had nothing.
You said manifesting.
I was like, that's it. I was like, I would love for you to be in the podcast. He was like, okay, cool, you can. I'll be on it. I said, oh, you ain't on the podcast. Hold on a minute. It's clear that you are meant to do this. Let me go. I figured that stuff out so quick. I said, let me do this. I know somebody who knows somebody. Hey, can you help me with this? Da, da, da. That was me.
Well, that's the thing, is like when you trust your intuition, things just become like a fact.
And
It's like, you're like, my podcast, and you're like, I don't have a podcast.
Listen.
Kayla in the future has a podcast, and
Got
she
it.
said, "You will have one."
It's like I just always wanted to, because I had a huge fear of being seen. A huge.
Which is crazy because you're gorgeous and funny
But
and
stop
charismatic.
it. But stop.
Hiding. You're Cinderellaing yourself.
I said, listen, my slipper been gone. Okay. But like, just the fact that something was like, no, you need to do this. Even I was on a prayer line, because I do a prayer line every morning. And like, I pray for all my friends. I pray for all the people who I care about, love, everything. I pray for people, I don't know, XYZ. And I just told them, again, I never know what I'm going to say when I say some stuff. I was like, I want to pray for y'all. And I started breaking down. They said, hold on a minute. Hold on. But you really know how to speak. And that to me was like confirmation of, no, it is completely okay for me to talk to a camera and be myself 100%. Because it's like you said, like me keeping that mask on. Because like you know how I am.
Yes.
I am possibly too goofy. I probably chill out a little bit. That's what accident does.
It's okay. We celebrate clown blood here.
Oh my goodness. If y'all heard some of the stuff I be saying, y'all be like, girl, go outside for a little bit.
I see that conversation we had last time you were at my house.
Shut up. Look, we
in front of my white friend who was just like, y'all are in it.
And I sure was like, no offense to you, white person. Anywho, la da da. But it's like just being able to be myself. And how everything, and once I really once I really embraced who I was, loving every aspect of myself, everything happened so quickly.
Well, this feels like such a natural transition of like, you were the like producer, film creator, like behind the camera, and now you're on this side.
Grace.
Yeah, you gotta be on this side. Like, your voice and what you make is powerful, but now they actually get to hear your voice, not just metaphorically and secondhand, they get to hear it directly. That's a sign of growth and empowerment.
I accept what you're saying. Because there's that part of me that's like, still
the inner saboteur.
Oh my gosh, self-sabotage be trying to sneak up in that beat. But I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
Punch it.
I ain't got no time for no self-sabotage nowadays. I ain't got it.
Everybody else in the world's trying to sabotage you.
Listen.
Can't be sticking the stick in your own bike spoke.
I'll be damned. But girl, you got us going off on this tape. This is how when we're around each other, this is how we genuinely talk to each other. And we be laughing and some most stuff. We are editing ourselves a little bit, putting it out there. Because the stuff that I would want to say, I still got to be on the podcast every other day.
Yeah. We're also making sure that it's translatable to a broad audience.
Absolutely. And people, it's so funny. There was this one dude, I had to explain something to him. It was like while I was still in school, graduated with films and stuff, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But I had to send him a voice memo because I was like, I'm not going to type all this out. I sent it to him. He was like, oh my gosh, your voice is amazing. I said, girl, you better stop it. Stop. You better get out of my face. Go, girl. But Alex, it's just, us being able to be in this space and be us. Low-key, I want to cry, but I'm going to hold it together because I ain't been crying.
See, it's those moments of bliss. Like, I just feel like if you're not on the right path, like if I were doing something that was contradictory to my goals or to what I'm being guided towards, I wouldn't be able to experience the kind of bliss I do. Like, always being about to cry. Like, I don't think people who are unhappy have that. And I don't think anybody creating things that police other people, anybody that's not minding their own business, I don't think they have that. And it's like, they can, if they take a moment to reflect and do what they need to. But like, maybe they'll do that in their next lifetime. Maybe they're just here to learn that lesson the hard way. Maybe they're here to go pick their Switch and let the universe get them together. But yeah, I just like, even with like everything the way it is right now, which also the way things are right now have been this way for a lot of people for a long time.
This ain't new.
Yeah.
It's just y'all finally seeing it.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh wait, and it's like, oh girl, it's been this bad.
Girl, I had a conversation with somebody because I was upset. I was like, oh my gosh, all this is happening. And he was like, I was like, oh yeah, my fault. I forgot.
You were on this side.
I was like, yeah, I was over here. Like, and I ain't mixed. I gotta put that out there. I ain't mixed. I'm all the way black. I'm just, clap on, clap off sometime. But nah, he was like, Kayla, girl, did you forget? I said, you right. Civil rights leaders are right there today. My bad.
That's what I saw a woman on I wasn't on Threads, but Jacob's on Threads, and he showed me, and this woman was like, when the election happened, she was like, ugh. And then her grandmother, I think, was like, girl, I lived through Jim Crow South. She's like, it's gonna suck, but you gonna make it.
There it is.
And it's like, I just feel like all of this happening, like, I, for the first time, am experiencing in my life faith. Like, my church always talked about it, and I was like, oh, I have it, which is why you should never subject a child with anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder to fundamental Christianity. Because my ruminations became like, what the hell? Like, if I don't do this way, God's going to kill me. Or like, not a great place to be if you're navigating mental health.
Because everybody's journey looks different.
Yeah. But, like, my brain just got scrambled for a second.
That's not bad.
What were we talking about? Oh, the way the world is. But, like, they'd always talk about faith, and I was like, oh, yeah, I have that, sure, whatever. But now for the first time in my life, it's like if you believe in string theory, I feel like the strings that make me up. I feel like there's like a thrum, like a guitar being plucked at my heart. Like in the center of my being, it's like doom, doom, doom. And it's like peaceful and joyful, and it grounds me. Like, and when I was experiencing this sort of spiritual growth, this personal growth, this development as an artist and a person and a woman, I like was so afraid of losing how far I've come. I was like, it's gonna go back and I'm gonna be that same like little scared kid who can't do anything and like is stuck. And I feel this thrum now that I'm like, oh, there's like no way to go back. Like, I've changed shape. I can't be forced back into this thing of where I came from. And like, I have this thrum, and I feel it about the world. Like, it's crazy out there. The bills being passed, the genocides being done, but I'm viewing it, I feel it in my core as like the death rattle of a system that's falling apart, a system that's rooted, like an unsustainable system rooted in oppression, slavery, and policing, and it's been that way for hundreds of years, is dying. And so it's scary, and there's going to be loss, but I think death signifies a change. And so, like, in spite of everything, like, I have hope and faith. And it's weird, because I can still get online, read an article, and be like, oh my God, like, still feel my full gamut of emotions, of anger, calling out people. Like, I feel all of that, but also I feel hope and faith. And I'm like, oh, this, like, as a 33-year-old adult woman, I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about. That's faith. And it's like, it's not in, like, a Christian God. It's faith in that there's better on the horizon. Yeah.
And you show all that stuff in your artwork. See how I brought it back? You see, I did it. But you show all of that, like, in your artwork, because there was, so, for y'all that don't know, I took my little, my little yang and tried to do art show. I can't draw to save my life. So, if I'm ever at, Pum point, is that what they say on the YouTubes? If I'm ever at the Pum point and y'all, like, draw a circle and be like, well, here's what it is at this point. But I got kids. I'm going to do the best I can. But it's like with me doing that, and then you being the biggest help, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Take my life for a couple minutes. I don't know what's going on here.
She curated a whole exhibition with like raffles and a bunch of different artists and different artworks. There was food. First time curating. It was amazing. She did great.
You're going to have me do it. You're going to have me cry. Somebody was like, you want to do it again? Stop. That's not my calling. I'll probably do it again. I'll do it in tandem with someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it was just like, Kayla, you want to do it? Don't talk to me like that.
Sorry.
I knew you didn't like me. That's what I heard. But no, it's, and like with your art being up there, your piece with the, I think it was the two men.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it was so cute. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that piece. I was like, oh man, I can't steal this. Alex gonna know. 'Cause I'm definitely I'm gonna tell you, hey Alex, I stole that piece. It was me. It was me. It was me the whole time. But no, just the art that you do, and then the fact that you're a professor, because with the conversations that we've had, from where you were a year ago to today, 180.
It's crazy.
180 with everything, and I'm just like, dang.
The pandemic got me together. It's like it hit right after my sister died, and so like navigating. I say it right, yeah, navigating grief, and then the whole world shutting down. It's like you have to sit with your demons, and my demons were, you've survived this long, and the universe is like, I've helped you along the way, but you have an emotional debt, and I'm collecting. And that, like, I was grieving the state of the world, I was grieving my life, I was grieving all the things that I was just like, I'm fine, and like survived. Being put at a standstill made me sit and cry about my sister, cry about my life. Like, not a sad way, like I'm very happy with the way, like I would never change anything. I left my life turned out. But like, I was blessed to survive, and that means I held on to things I didn't know I was holding on for, and that pause made me grieve. And like after shedding all that and felt like I was going insane, I could redirect and refocus on what is it I actually want to do. And it's just been a weird and wild, like, exponential growth. And like now I'm in a job I love with colleagues that are amazing. I'm in a space I love. I make work that I'm proud of. And like, if y'all are watching, if you go to my website, it's missalexandermartin.com. That's my online portfolio. It's all about the work I've been making the past like few years. But there's hidden archives that you all can't see of my work from graduate school, my work from undergrad. We're like, I understand what I was doing then and I like it, but it was very cold. It was very academic. I was like making what I thought I needed to do to be an artist. And like like Jacob remembers like everything I say and then brings it up and I'm like, did I really say that? And it was like I was quoted as like, I used to say like, oh, I don't really want to do figurative work because like as a black queer person, like that's what galleries want. They want work that looks black, where it's like I want to do like minimalism or like installation work or non-representation. Like I want to get into these spaces with my voice in a way that's not just something that's like marketable to these spaces that want like people love work that looks a certain way, so they can give themselves a pat on the back for doing diversity or whatever. And so I said like, oh, I don't want to do that, and like didn't consider myself a figurative person. And now like everything I do is figurative. Like I'm doing figurative work, sculpture, like, and it's like fun again. Like I learned how to do it for me, and I think it shows up in the work. Like the people I care about that respond to the work, it's not just like, oh, you're so good, like great job. It's like my friend Ramona saw some of my work and she was like, this feels really happy. I was like, it is.
I love that.
It is. It comes from a space of like joy and bliss and celebration and divine inheritance.
Speaking of joy and bliss, you are also a fabulous drag queen.
Thank you. Yeah, you just got to see me perform last Friday.
Yeah, look, I love you. I will always want to see you perform. If I got to be out that late with weirdos again. And it's like, and I don't want anybody to think I'm talking about the trans women. I mean the straight men.
Yeah, the straight men that come to the queer spaces on the weekend.
God. I'm like, it was my first time experiencing it, y'all. Not the drag show, but like experiencing straight men in queer spaces. It was very uncomfortable for me.
Girl, last month I think there was a man that came out one night because he walked in during a drag show looking so confused. The gay bar where we live is very clearly a gay bar.
It's very gay. There's nothing but rainbows and everything everywhere. It's a fabulous place to be.
This man came in all white, pants all the way down to his knees, belt buckle, with bedazzled rose underwear. And I would be like, never mind, speak like a good Christian woman. But it's like, you, sir, are going to walk in here and look sideways at a drag show?
But you got your
Who
cheeks
you
hanging.
fooling?
You got,
Who?
you got them cheeks out, bro.
And not just like unwashed straight man underwear. You're in bejeweled rose panties. Who you fooling? Not doing a very good job.
No, because when I was, I don't know if you saw my video. When I was at the drag show, mind you guys, okay, I gotta preface this. We're at a gay bar, at a drag show, at a gay bar. This man comes up to me, straight black man. Again, I was just like, he was a stereotypical black man too. If you know, for my black people, you know what I mean. He said, I ain't with all that gay shit. I said, you're in a gay bar.
Like, why the hell?
I'm thinking I'm tripping now. I'm like, 1 + 1. Goddamn. Because I know, I'm looking around like, did I leave?
This is the delusion that these people walk around in during the day. This is why they're so hateful.
I can't.
They ain't doing the math.
When I tell you I was so blue, because he said it to Lex also.
Yeah. Shout out to
And
Lex
Lex
for
was
saying,
snapping out.
nigga, this is a gay bar.
Lex was snapping out. But I said, Lord, there you go. And there it is. Because me and her both talk was like, this is you're in a gay bar. You watching, it would be different if he didn't sit through the entire drag show. You sat through the entire drag show. Mm-hmm. Then proceeded to say, I ain't with all that. He was there when they were asking, hey, who in here is gay? Everybody was cheering. Hey, who in here is straight? 3 people was cheering. It was like 4 or 5 of us. We was cool. And then it's like, asking all the questions, and it's like, bruv, you were there for all of that. You're weird on purpose.
People hate to admit, and they have a weird cognitive dissonance about it, where like, we make the best parties. We have a great time. Like, if you've ever been to like the ballroom, like a ball, black queer people have created a space that is divine. It is excellence everywhere. It's amazing.
Wasn't that Beyonce Renaissance album? Wasn't that what about?
Rooted in that because like her uncle and stuff. But yeah, like the ballroom, like watch Paris is Burning, watch like it is amazing. People take so much culture from those spaces, from queer spaces, from black spaces, and they don't want to admit how much they love it. And it's like you can just celebrate it instead of being weird about it. You can also enjoy something without like being that identity. Like, it's bizarre to me. It doesn't make any sense because people want things so bad, but then they're so afraid. Like, I have this all the time, and I'm sure like if there's any haters watching that disagree, but like, I'm gorgeous. But like, I'm fat, I'm black, and I'm a trans woman. Those 3 things a lot of men don't mess around with because they're either racist, transphobic, fatphobic. And I'm also polyamorous, which turns away some people as well. But like, I've seen people be like, they don't want to admit that they're attracted to me. Which sounds very vain and narcissistic, but I'll see them like, look, and then get weird about it. And I'm like, you were looking at me like, I once, after a night, I was making out with a straight man, who then, which consensually, we're both making out enjoying, who started like getting emotional. He's like, but I'm not gay. And I was like, what do you, like, looking like this, I was like, what do you like about me? And he like described some things. I'm like, how many men do you know that look like that? How many men do you know that? It was like, you're not. Yeah.
Also, again, to preface, Alex is all the way herself. She will never sit up here and do what's it called? Where it's like you don't tell someone that you're trans.
Oh, like going incognito or yeah.
Alex, not that type of person. She will always let you know up front, hey, I am a trans woman. So it's up to you afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So
people still give her because it's a safety thing. Like, you can't be. Yeah. Like, even on my dating profile, whatever. Like, Hinge has this option of like a little window pop up. It's like, what should they know about you? It's like, I'm black, I'm trans, I'm fat, and I'm poly. If any of those are a problem, go to hell and swipe left. Like,
go to hell and swipe left. It's crazy.
Like,
That's
it just,
crazy.
I can't, like, yeah, I think I'm not trying to fool anybody. And so people just act so like, they don't admit they're into it. It's just so weird. Or they don't want to admit that things bring them joy. Like, black trans women create culture. and people participate in that culture, that language, the fashion, all of that gets disseminated into the public, and then they want to act. Think of that, like that white girl on TikTok that was like, I've invented this hairstyle called crispy bangs. She's about finger waves. I'm like, invent it.
I got it. I'm holding it.
Invent.
You didn't think
We're making up.
that's been
We're
around
learning
for
brand
forever?
new things here at the gig. Like, what are you talking
Remember they
about?
had them Kylie braids? You got them Kylie braids.
Kylie braids.
Remember, was it Kylie braids? It was something somebody had wore. It was Kim. Kim Kardashian had got her hair braided, and they were like, "Oh, I got the Kimberly braids," and I'm like, "Girl, if you don't go, them is just straight backs." Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it's crazy how they love black culture but hate black people. It doesn't make sense to me. But who am I?
That's like if anybody listens to K-pop. Not really. I listened to K-pop a lot in college. I don't really know all these new bands, but they will reference American black culture so much. But then if you go over there as a black person, they're like scared.
Well, I don't think are they scared over there?
There's racism.
Because I know in certain countries, so I've been looking up China a lot. Because, with how the government been doing and everything like that, they make up all this stuff. So I'm like, let me just do my own research. So I've been looking up China, and, one thing we heard is, China don't like black people. Come to find out, a lot of them are just like, we don't see y'all, so we're shocked when we see you. It's one of those, it's like, it's a black person right there. And they're not, like, scared or anything. It's just like, oh.
It's like
we don't see y'all. How you been? How's your day?
When I was in college, I went to Japan for a summer, and my university was in Osaka. So like Tokyo, and this was in 2012, mind you, so it's been over a decade now. But like Tokyo, there's I think the highest concentration of foreigners, which like Japan's like 98.9% Japanese. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of foreigners. Like I saw black people in Tokyo. I was like, hey, but
every time I see, listen, if I'm out the country and I see someone black, how you been?
Yeah.
How you been?
It's that head nod. It's like, hey.
But it's given to Where's Waldo.
Yes. But in Osaka, there's not a lot of foreigners. Mm-hmm. And so people they were like, as Americans, you'll get stared at, blah blah blah, and they're like, some students freak out or whatever. I went over there and I was like, this is just like being black in America. But I met people who never met a black person in real life. And so they were staring, but they weren't
they weren't being like, you shouldn't be here. It's
more
of
they were just like, what? People asked me if my hair was real.
I see y'all.
This was before I was into the wigs. So, is that real? Because I had a mohawk at the time. I was going through it in college. And they're like, is that real? I'm like, yeah, it is. But it was I don't know, it was interesting. It wasn't, because there's people who look at me with fear because of racism and transphobia or whatever. Like, oh, what is that? Kill it with fire. But this was genuine curiosity of I have never seen that before. And I can't imagine what that's like. I grew up here around a lot of different kind of people. I can't imagine what it's like to see someone that looks a way you've never seen before.
I do. I'll be having moments of never mind, I don't want to say that part. I ain't gonna say that.
That's what I think of Morgan, when she went to Bradley. She's like, I went to Bradley to see if white people were really like that. And they are. Because she went to an all-black school.
It's giving case study. Case study. Because it's there be some days I'm just like, are they? Let me see what's going on over here.
I had to gaslight myself to survive that environment. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, they really are like that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's I learned how to be in it for safety. But now that I'm outside looking in, I'm like, damn.
Look, my last job, my favorite thing was making white folks uncomfortable. I used to work in the news. I used to be a news producer. And being the black person that I am, when I first went in there, it was predominantly white. And there were certain stories that would come up, and I'm just for the first 2 weeks of the job, you're let me fill it out. Let me see what's going on with it. Mm-hmm. That third week, I said, oh, that's performative. And they were like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, that's performative. It had something to do with, I think it was a story about State Farm and how they had a whole bunch of I forget what it's racist lawsuits against them because they were being racist towards a bunch of black people. Then all of a sudden they promoted a black man. They honored him and everything. I said, oh, that's performative. And they were like, what do you mean? Why would that be performative? They're honoring him. I said, y'all not see? We just reported on these lawsuits last week. What you mean? Now all of a sudden you guys are going to put up a black man as the person y'all want to honor? Nigga, stop. Okay? Cut it out. We can see performative when we see performative. Just like how we can see how, all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Yeah.
We can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And we be minding our business. And now for them people who ain't the kin folk or nor the skin folk, you got it over there. Y'all stay on over there, mind your business. This podcast will not be for you. I'm just going to put that out there right now. My podcast, I love black people. I am a black person. I like to talk about black things. Pause on that. I had to pause myself on that one because, I got perverted minds sometimes. But
well,
but it's like
tell me more.
I love talking to people who can be their authentic self. And when I accidentally, when Alex tell y'all that I be knowing how to chat, I genuinely know how to chat a little bit. Just tinge, not too much. I ended up curating completely by accident, completely off the cuff, an entire conversation about how trans and queer people feel. Because I'm of the belief of I will never know what it feels like to not be me and have to lie to myself to fit a societal norm. I will never know what that feels like. So who am I to sit up here and be like, you don't feel like that? Nigga, I'm not you and you not me. That don't make any sense to me. I will never sit up here and do that.
That's why moments like this are your art form. Because I remember that conversation and it's like genuine curiosity for understanding and personal growth. Like it's the style of the documentarian. It's I'm not passing any judgment and have no preconceived notions. Tell me how it is for real. And you create that environment very well.
You can make me do it.
That's why they're so important. Like, again, like if you've made it this far into this and you're like a hater, like kudos for making it this far. That's bananas.
Especially if you're a hater, because we've been on here for how long?
Yeah, I can't read that.
My God, on today. I sound so old. An hour 30 minutes.
I'll see. It says like if you've
we slow. We show
it. It's like if you've made it this far, like, and you're still a hater, like that's wild. But like, I don't care. I wish you the day you deserve. But like, I don't care.
No, I thank you. I'm gonna run them thanks because you're running me them views. Thank you. Because it doesn't matter what you do. There's going to be someone who is going to hate watch everything you do because they did not have the strength, mental capacity, whatever you want to call it, to actually do what they want to do in life.
Yeah.
And it's like seeing where we are in life right now.
Yeah.
Like seeing how you're successful in everything you touch. Like I was surprised when you said that you didn't go to conferences and stuff with doing drag, and no shade to everybody else. I was like, I'm over here talking to Chris. I said, no, we biased. I don't think we biased because I'm looking at this. Look, I could have been a judge on RuPaul, how I was judging everybody. I'm just like, it's not giving it to me. What is happening here? I don't know. And then it's like, you come out, and I'm just like, everything I needed. Everything. What they do? Everything I needed. Everything. And it's like, you just seeing you be you. Seeing you do something that you love is always going to be a treat for me. Like, seeing you thrive in everything, whether it be teaching, art, drag, whatever you do. Even you going further in your spirituality, really, truly connecting with your ancestors, which, if we're going to put a little side note on that, kind of crazy how black folks are the only people who are told not to talk to their ancestors. But who am I? Who am I?
It's where the power's hidden.
But it's crazy because black folks and everybody else do it, especially like say when a grandparent passes away. You over here, you're like, okay, I remember what my grandpa said. That's what you're doing. You're talking to your ancestor. When somebody is gone, you're like, dang, I wish you was here. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all demonized. But to see you be in your fullness, it's like,
well, it's that space of bliss and joy and like knowing the lane you're in, staying with a hydrated, moisturized, and in your lane or whatever.
Moisturize
Like,
is doing good.
like I know I'm where I'm supposed to be because I feel actual bliss for other people. Like watching you succeed, watching like I follow this person that does like because I studied Japanese in school, so I follow this person that was like doing stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'm moving to Japan to increase my studies, and I'm releasing this book." I don't know this person. I just follow their lessons online to learn some cool grammar conjugations and whatnot. And I was like, got like, oh, like for a stranger.
I love being happy for people.
Yes, and it's
I
like
love being happy for people.
I
Because
don't know-
I'm not a hater.
yes.
It don't make sense for me to hate on somebody. I have my lane. You have your lane. We are two completely different people. I love what you do because it worked for you.
I'm still a little bit of a hater when people deserve it, but
Nah, I don't hate people.
That's why I
But
pray-
be like, may you, like you said, may you.
I just pray for justice.
I cannot with you. But anywho, so gotta wrap this up because we are at 2 minute mark.
Yeah.
So where can everybody find you? Just in case they want more information, especially the people who aren't comfortable with being out.
Yeah, so you can find me on I'm on Instagram as Miss Alexander. I think it's just Miss Alexander, yeah. And then my website is missalexander.com, and I have my contact information there. Also have like all my work if you want to see, read my statements, look at my pieces. I'm also on Blue Sky.
What's that question?
Yeah, I just not on there a whole lot, but it's nice because it's a very curated environment.
It's calm.
Yeah. And it's also Miss Alexander. You can find me on any of those. Or if you're in the Midwest, you can find me at a community event maybe.
She do everything, y'all.
I'd be out and about.
She do everything.
I'm pulling back a little bit. I'm focusing on me, but I still
She
somehow
do
end up being out and about.
everything. She do everything, y'all. And she does it with grace and beauty and some more stuff. And again, this is my girl, and I'm so happy that I'm so happy that you decided to come and do this.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. This was such a fun conversation.
And we're goofy.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna play with that little mic for a
I
little
know.
bit.
Ugh, I'm just gonna walk around and be like,
You're down. You're down. But anywho, all right, y'all. I will see y'all on the next one.
bye.
We did it. We did it.